CAT QA trend comparison 2010 to 2025. So 15-year comparison is what we have done, and we have, like, you can see on your screen this table wherein four categories are there, and for if you'll see, like CAT 2010, the number of questions, how many questions were there in each year, right? So like if I talk about algebra, it is quite stable from 2010 to 2025. So seven questions, six to seven questions each is what we can say were there in all these years, right? But on the other hand, arithmetic has an upper hand nowadays. Earlier, there used to be like number of questions used to be more, right? Total number of questions of overall, like CAT used to be more. But nowadays, like arithmetic itself uh, is, 10 questions you can see in a paper, 9, 8, 9, 10 questions from arithmetic itself. So that is a development, and this development is probably because IIMs want crowd coming from the diverse background, right? So there are like because the purpose of this exam, and when they want to create business leaders, and when we talk about businesses, so there will be doctors, lawyers, architects, and all other professionals that we can see, like coming from the commerce backgrounds, art background. So all these brains can be utilized for business needs, and they think, and the advantage that we have is they think differently, and they will have, like they will have an edge over each other in some of the areas. So this is the whole idea, that the arithmetic, I think, has increased, and IIMs wants to see people from diverse backgrounds coming to IIM, right? So talking about the difficulty, 2023 was the most difficult paper, and one of my students appeared for CAT 2023. She did score like in DILR, she was around 85, 86 percentile, right? In QA, she couldn't do well actually, because she marked too many, like negative marking was there. But this paper was something that most of us will remember. It was said by IIM Lucknow, and earlier, like 2010, 10, 2020, 2015 or 2022, the papers were on like moderate to difficult side, right? And again, the difficulty level dipped. So you can see 2024 paper was moderate, and again it has risen a little bit, but not that much in 2025. So we can say it was like the arithmetic was lengthy, but we can still call it like moderate level difficulty, right? So this is like a trend comparison that we have now. Based on that, we have score versus percentile. Then the next slide that we have is score versus percentile. Now, if suppose if a student is scoring 9 marks, now I am starting from the lower end. Suppose you are in QA section, you just got three questions correct, right? And there are no negative marks. So you got 9 marks in QA, right? So here you can see, like if it was CAT 2028, then it would have been 42 percentile, right? But if you talk about CAT 2023, it's 80 percentile. So students might wonder that, how come this difference? So this difference is because of the difficulty level of each year. Like, the paper will be less or more difficult. So in 2023, it was difficult. So you probably get, a reward, like you get 80 percentile for even for 9 marks. But when paper is on the easier side, you will get lesser marks, right? So not bad. If you talk about 2024, 2025, you are still getting above 70, even there are actually 22 questions. So solving even three questions correctly from QA section will put you above 70, and projected for 2026 is 75 percentile. So this is like on the lower side. If you see, like if you score 15, you are you are 87, 88 is what in 2025 you will be 87 percentile. You would have got 87 percentile. In 2026, it projected will be like 88%. So not bad, right? Like 15 marks is like five questions. You have to solve only five questions. So in previous slide, you have seen like 10 questions, 7 to 10, 10 questions from arithmetic. So imagine if you just focus on arithmetic totally and little bit of algebra and little bit of geometry and some of modern math. Or maybe you can skip modern math and one of the topic totally, like you are not getting, you are not uh, looking into it at all, but you are just dealing with arithmetic, for example, and algebra. So that will land you in a good percentile and probably a good college, right? So what it takes to get into 90s and 90s and 95 are 21 to 24 marks. So if you get 24 more than 24, then when you will get up to 99 percentile, right? So this was like score versus percentile, okay? And every year, as I've said, the competition will change, right? The difficulty level will change depending on who is your convener and how the difficulty level will be little bit uh, more or less compared to previous years, right? And again, the competition will change. I mean, if the students who are like, CAT exam is like a race. All competitive exams basically are like a race. And it depends who is running with you, like who are your competitors. If the competition is tough, people with whom you're competing are like are very good, then you will have to face a tougher competition. So this is what it is, but strategy moreover will remain same with more or less changes for each and every individual, like what you are targeting, what sort of colleges you are targeting. So based on that, your strategy you can mold a little bit, right? Now coming to the section wise marks. So this is also important. Now we just discussed only QA, quantitative aptitude, but there are other sections also. So what will be in what is the overall score that you will need uh, to ensure 85%? So in CAT 2026 you score around 43, 45, and you will get like 85%. Right? So this type of equation you can discover for yourself. For example, you can see in the bottom aim 30 20 20. So that will be like total 70 marks. So 30 from VRC, 20 from DILR, and 20 from QA, right? So this will get you to 70, and 70, if you score 70, you're already in, 95, and you are already on, you will already definitely you will get a good college, right? An excellent college. So DILR like has been a little bit, tricky, and over the years sometimes it will be easy, moderately easy, sometimes difficult, very difficult. So that sort of fluctuation is there. But VARC on the other hand is like more stable section. In VARC, definitely they will not check your grammar. Okay, so there will be passages, and these passages followed by several multiple choice questions. So you have to like there are other questions also in VRC like parajumble. So if you practice, and if you are good at English, like you have a habit of reading from your schooling days, so that will make you score good in VRC. If you understand passages, if you can comprehend what the author is trying to convey from the passage and the kind of passage it is, like whether it is based on several arguments, whether it is more diplomatic, whether it is talking about socialism and various isms that are there, or whether that passage is kind of defines a problem in first paragraph and then gives examples in the subsequent paragraph. So these sort of, I have given just some examples. And for DILR also similarly, I will make a separate video. So there are like several topics. So data interpretation sets are different, logical reasoning sets are different. So you need to be comfortable with both. And there are like some topics which usually appear. So there will be a game, a tournament, a different kind of game that they will define in paper. Points will be given, and then you have to solve. Then there is scheduling sort of sets, like there is a restaurant which makes pizza, and there are three or four processes, and it takes some amount of time. So these all things we will discuss in a separate video, like what sort of questions are there. And any which ways I am like putting bundle of videos, like every alternative day, maybe if possible every day on this channel. So you can check out those papers, and I hope that will help you. And those are all like free, right? So students should focus on their consistency and accuracy. So consistency is like you have to be more consistent with the score that you are achieving in your mock. So you can start with a sectional mock, or maybe a semi mock, or then a full length mock. So this way you can you will start to score good, and that consistency you have to maintain, and accuracy most important, that negative marking can ruin your total score. So you have to be sure that you are not dealing with questions wherein you tend to give wrong answers, and that will probably is going to harm your score, right? So what are the smart targets for CAT 2026? So as I've said, 85 percentile is like 21, 12, 12, and if you want 98, then target for 38, 26, 25, right? So 25 from QA means 8 questions you have to solve. 90 percentile is like from QA you have to solve 5 questions. So out of 23, 22, solving 5 is possible, right? In DILR also, like 5 questions means 2 sets you have to deal with, right? Or maybe there will be like one set, from one set you can answer two, one set two, like that, right? Two or three maybe, like that also you can do. And in VARC, two passages or maybe three passages is what you have to deal in 40 minutes. Each section has got 40 minutes. So in 40 minutes you have to solve all every section. You have to complete each section. So this was like section wise marks that you can probably jot down target. Uh, you can make your own targets based upon the colleges that you want. Now, this is again a crucial point that I want to make. Now, CAT preparation is different for engineers and different for non-engineers, right? So, if we talk about engineers in quantitative aptitude, they are very strong. They have strong foundation, right? And if we talk about non-engineers, now this is just like a prototype, a general sense that we have. There will be exceptions, like some non-engineers might be brilliant at quantitative aptitude also, right? But if you talk about like a general, if you talk generally, then in quantitative aptitude, engineers are definitely good. Like they do it day in and day out during their engineering degree, so they are very much familiar with numbers, and even with logical reasoning, analytical thinking is what they are doing every day. So they are good with these two sections. Okay, when it comes to reading comprehension and verbal ability, engineers sometimes, they are not that good. But on the other hand, if you have somebody who is coming from arts background, who is into, literature or something, so they will be like, they will have an edge over engineers. They will be better than engineers, right? And as I've said, like if non-engineers also practice BILR, they can show good results in that area. Now, the fourth point here is academic diversity point. Now, IIMs give additional points to academic diversity. Now, suppose there is a non-engineer with 98 percentile and an engineer with 98 percentile, then non-engineer will get like more academic diversity point because he is coming from a diverse background. So that advantage non-engineers have, right? Then competition level for non-engineers is probably small peer group because less number of people you're competing with the less number of people, while as engineers usually there is a large competition, right? Then from business perspective, engineers are more technical orientation. They have more technical orientation. And if you talk about non-engineers, they have diverse viewpoint and experiences. So if suppose if you give a problem to engineer, like a finance problem to engineer, then it is less likely that he will deal with it with same level of uh, same level of technique that a chartered accountant will, right? So this is just to give you an idea. And suppose if you will give a technical problem to chartered accountant or somebody from commerce background, they will have same difficulty, they will have same problems. But business needs all these people and all these trades equally. So this is the business perspective when we talk about engineers and non, right? Then learning curve in CAT, engineers will definitely start faster in QA and VILR, and non-engineers will be like faster in VM. So final selection advantage, it is, I think we have already discussed. So like non-engineers can have different strategy, right? They can target more of VARC maybe, and QA they can just focus on uh, arithmetic. Okay, because non-engineer students are have like 2 to 3 years gap. Like they have some gap in between. They haven't had any mathematics during those 2 years, or had a little bit of mathematics only. So that makes it different for non-engineers. And most of my students are coming from non-engineering background only. And I make sure that I give them a strategy which prepares them uh, as non-engineers to deal with that exam. It is not like they will do heavy mathematics. So we focus basically on arithmetic, little bit of algebra, maybe some geometry, some one or two topics from geometry is what is required. But basics you should try to learn from each and every segment. So this is how you can deal with QA. Then coming to DILR, QA is also used. Most of the topics from arithmetic and algebra are also used in data interpretation, like percentages and ratios, and sometimes equations also you have to use in DILR. So this way, if you prepare QA, DILR as non-engineer with with structured practice is what is required, you will be able to land in a good score, a decent score. And I think, as I've shown in previous slide, solving 5 questions out of 22 is definitely possible for a non-engineer. If we talk about QA section, in VRC, definitely they are going to do likely that they will do better than engineers, right? So coming to the next and most important part, we just conclude. MBA colleges now, this is not like there will be certain variations. Okay, so I don't claim that these are exact figures, but moreover they are like nearby. Okay, so which colleges you can expect on what sort of percentile? So the best return on investment is FMS daily. I'm not going into IIMs here. So best return on investment is FMS daily. If you will get into FMS daily, you have 99 plus percentile, 2.4 lakh is your fees, and the median package is 30 lakh per annum. So this is like, a huge return on investment, right? Followed by, all tier one colleges, you will see like SPJM is a wonderful college in Mumbai, right? Then you have IISP. Earlier they used to have their own exam, but now it comes under um, CAT only. Right? So IIM Shillong is there, IIM Mumbai is there, Powai, IIM Trichy, IIM Udaipur. So once you are in 90s, you have a chance to get into an IIM or at least a college which will ensure you uh, a good package, right? An excellent package, we can say, not just good, an excellent package. Now coming to the next part, like if you talk about IMT Ghaziabad, GIM Goa is again a very lush green campus, and they have world class facilities. So GIM Goa is also one of the dream colleges for most of the students. Tapni Manipal, PA Pi Manipal. This is also a good college, and you can see fees and median salary. Like in you are below 20 lakh per annum, but still it is considered a good starting package, right? So not bad, okay. Uh, and and your last option probably tier three strong private colleges. So even if you have like 70 percentile, you will get Bimtech Noida, and this is also a good college. Wellinkar is well known college, and they are known for like their for creating innovators, right? So Wellinkar is also a good college, like 11 lakh is fees, and then you will 75 to 85 percentile is what you need to get into Wellington. Only by Chennai, and we have here from Pune, we have like XIME Bangalore is there, various. So this is also a wonderful place to be in, right? IMT Nagpur is there, of course. Somaya, cannot see here, but it should have been here, right? And then we have all the IIMs on your left hand side of the screen. So first we have IIM EBC, then we have IIM Lucknow. So here the packages are quite big. So 34 lakh per annum, like 35 lakh per annum. So these sort of packages you will get if you will get into IIM EBC and all other IIMs, right? So this was just little bit of it. Maybe each college in detail can be discussed. But this is just to give you an idea. Even if you are scoring 70s and 80s, and I have shared in last slide that scoring 70s and 80s is possible for non-engineers also. And as I've said that I most of the students that I have are coming from commerce background. So I mean I just wanted to make a point that scoring even 70, 85 or 80 percentile will land you in a good place, a decent place, a good college, an above average college wherein you will get a good package and a good education, uh, which is most important, right? So I think that's all.